if it's bull or bear, I don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kind of patient, 'cause only time will tell.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It is Monday, and I wanted to do something a little different today, honestly, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, you see a lot of people in the retail market, and they're saying to themselves, "Hey, you know, the market's going down. I'm done with crypto. I don't really care." And then they all wait until the next cycle when everything's mooning and going crazy, and then they buy in towards the top yet again. And it's the same thing. And a big part of the problem with crypto, honestly, I mean, it's a benefit to those who understand what's happening. It's a detriment to those that don't have a clue, and they don't really put in the time. Now, I'm hoping that this video finds some of you guys out there who are still pretty new to crypto. And, you know, maybe you got in at a peak, towards a peak, during a big FOMO rally, whatever. And this will help you see some projects that may or may not be worth watching during the bear market, so that when we do bottom at some point, you know what to maybe buy into at the right time. Now, before we get into that, I want to show, oh, yeah, I can do that. Hold on. I'm going to show something here. I'm really actually pretty proud of this. So this is NFT.com. The public Genesis key sale. Now, this isn't paid. I'm just telling you because I'm kind of bragging a little bit, which I don't do often. But this is the Genesis sale. And in about 9 hours, the public sale starts. Okay. And I think about 3,000 Genesis keys, maybe roughly, have been sold or distributed to YouTubers, investors, so forth and so on. There was a big blind auction. They used the sales from the blind auction to set the public sale price. And I am the proud owner of 2 of these already. I'm the proud owner of 2 NFT.com/subdomains that I think might do okay. I got /PlayStation for one, and the second one is actually kind of funny, but I got /Trump. So I'm pretty happy about these, honestly. And like, here's the thing: NFT.com is ultimately looking to be kind of I mean, it's going to be an NFT marketplace. So basically you go NFT.com, which there are already millions of people plugging in NFT.com into their browser, trying to find out what's available. And, you know, I had Mr. Freed on an interview, and we discussed a lot about, you know, kind of what's happening with NFT.com. And he paid like $2 million for the domain, wanted to build a business off of it. And I think he's well on his way. And I'm really excited to have these. I've got another Genesis key, I think, that I'm minting tonight. And I'm going to find out what 2 other domains I'm getting. And basically, we go in and we pick the top 5. And then some of us got 2 Genesis keys, depending on our involvement and, you know, whatever. And I was one of 2 to get to. I'm actually trying to get an advisory role with NFT.com because I really do think this is going to be the future of NFTs. So yeah, I just wanted to show that. I mean, I have them. I have no intentions on selling either of them, at least right now. And yeah, I'm pretty excited, and I'm curious to see what the others are that I get. And the thing of it is for those of you guys and gals who you want to try and stake your claim on NFT.com with some, I mean, think about it this way. This is the way I'm looking at it. You know, a lot of YouTubers, they got their own names and stuff. Wrong, like thing like that. I'm not looking at this as like a thing where I'm going to have, you know, my name maybe someday, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about getting some of those really high traffic subdomains and locking those in, and then potentially building my own communities around them and the NFTs associated with the subject matter. So I opted for some good ones. I didn't get, I know another YouTuber got one of the ones that I really wanted, which was /gaming. I really wanted that one. But yeah, so I mean, if you're looking for an opportunity to maybe snatch up some real estate, I mean, it's not real estate, but it is, right? Like once you own these, you own them. This is all on the blockchain, and it's all minted through NFTs. So you might want to snag one or two of these if you can afford it. I don't think they're super cheap. I think they are, oh gosh, I can't remember if it's half an Ethereum or 1.5 Ethereum. Honestly, you'll have to like click here in 9 hours and I guess it'll tell you the price. But if you can get in on it, it might be a worthwhile investment if you're able to snag some subdomains that are going to be well trafficked in the future, because you might get a buyout offer. You could potentially build a whole community around the NFTs. The idea is that, you know, if somebody wants to sell like a Trump related NFT, they're probably going to want to try and bring me into the deals, pay me a royalty to use my subdomain to present them. So yeah, you know, anything PlayStation might be a big deal. And there's many other options. So I would think of this kind of like a Reddit. You know, what I did was I went through and I went and tried to find out what were some of the highest trafficked Reddit communities, and the sub communities. And that's what I was kind of going for. And so, yeah, there you go. So have fun with that if you're able to snag something. And, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about 8 cryptocurrency projects. These are going to be layer 1 projects, and we're going to go through some of the pros and cons associated with them and why I think, whether I like them or not, I mean, we got one right here, why they may be fruitful investments at the bottom of the bear cycle, okay, as we move closer into the halving in 2024, and then obviously what I expect to be the next bull cycle into 2025 and potentially 26. Now, I know this is far future planning. We're only in 2022, but the question is, do you want to put in the work to become a millionaire or multimillionaire or not? It's that simple. The groundwork has been laid for you. The work is being done for you by many, including myself, and we're presenting this information to you to open your eyes to what the opportunities may be. Nothing set in stone. Some of these projects that I mentioned here, while I think are fruitful now and have proven fruitful in this current bull cycle, may not be around in 2025 or 2026. We don't know. But what I've discovered is typically strong layer 1 blockchains with big communities typically continue to develop over time and continue to get stronger. Cardano, which is one I'm going to talk about tonight, obviously being one of the primary ones that I'm referring to. And it's still not even a completed project 100%. And it's still done massive gains and massive things, and it's going to continue doing more as things roll out. So I'm going to go over these projects. And and this isn't going to be a really short video. We're going to go over some of this stuff in detail, because if I don't do another video all week, I want this one to really stand the test of time with you guys. I want it to be something that you share. I want it to be something that you get a lot out of, and hopefully it educates you in a really strong way. So here we go. Number 1 on the list, and this is not in any particular order whatsoever, mind you. This is just the order that I was doing the work, okay? And then at the end of this little segment, I'm going to show all the data on one page and some other side notes for you to consider when you're trying to evaluate some of these projects or other projects like them. Now, these are all layer 1s, meaning these are all like Ethereum replacement potential, right? These are all projects that are, think of it as the framework, the framing of a house, okay? These are all the framework technologies that other applications like DeFi apps, NFT apps, whatever, they build on top of this, okay? So the first one on the list is Solana. The ticker's SOL. Current price is around $98, which is down quite a bit because I know it was at like $250 at one point. Current trade volume is, it looks to be around $1.3 billion a day in average trade volume. Its original all-time high, there it is, $258, okay? Trading at $98, its all-time high, which was like 6 months ago, was $258. We're in a bear market, people. For those of you guys still in denial and you're waiting for another Moon Boy pump, you're out of your goddamn minds. It's not happening soon, okay? I get so tired of seeing YouTubers alike, man. Everybody's trying to pump this shit, and it's not going anywhere right now. I'm sorry. I hate to burst your bubble. when I called the top of the market in April, and then I said there's going to be another peak and that's going to be it, everybody flamed me. And it's like, you know, for you guys that haven't learned to pay attention yet, I don't FUD the market on purpose. I'm a crypto evangelist. I'm a cryptocurrency educator. I do everything I can to try and help the people that watch my channel in a very, very, very real way. I'm not chasing headlines. I'm not chasing, you know, flashy titles to get 40,000 people to look at my video. If you don't have enough sense by now to read and watch what I'm putting out there and really think about it and consider it for what it is, then I can't really help you, right? I mean, it's really all there is to it. Anyway, it's a proof of stake algorithm, which means basically instead of a bunch of equipment that you have to buy, all of these projects are proof of stake. Proof of stake is greener for the environment. It's just better overall. You're not having to fork out thousands of dollars in hardware to try and mine this stuff up over long periods of time. You own it, you hold it, you delegate it, or you stake it to a node or whatever. I mean, everything has their own way of doing things, but you're generating some of these tokens passively over time. So it could be a passive yield over time as well, which is obviously beneficial. Now this particular, it's really hard for me to see it. Looks like this Solana went up. Is it 51,000%? Something like that. 51,000% from its low. Peak up since low. So when it bottomed out, it went up over 51,000% until its all-time high of $258, which is where it peaked. Total supply is about 511.5 million tokens, which is actually a really good circulated. That's a really good supply. I mean, it's really not that high. It's also one of the reasons why the tokens are worth so much when they originally peaked. Now, the inflation, however, is pretty high, almost 8.5% inflation. And what inflation entails as we move forward with this list, inflation is the number of new tokens being minted that's ultimately offsetting the value of the tokens that are already in circulation. Okay, so some of these are pretty high. I think Solana is one of the highest, quite frankly. And if you look for max supply, there is no max supply for Solana. It can just keep going forever. So you figure if it's 8.5% a year, you know, and it can go on forever. You're talking by the next bull market. I mean, we could have somewhere around 40-50% inflation. I don't know. Is that good? I don't know. On top of that, Solana is known more than like 51%, more than half of its tokens are owned by its original investors and venture capitalist groups. And so anytime I see a project owned by VCs, I know, because I've been a part of traditional market projects that were, you know, basically founded up by venture capitalist groups. And the second those things went public, they dumped on the heads of everybody, tanking the token price, and they made a significant profit right from day one. And it ultimately destroyed the company. And it's like these venture capitalists are there specifically to make money. They do not care who it hurts. They do not necessarily care how it goes about. And so when I see venture capitalist backed projects, I start to cringe, because it's not a community driven growth project. It's a venture capital driven project where these groups are buying up the tokens. They're rewarded a significant amount of tokens very, very early on in seed stages. And you know, they just dump them on the heads of everyone else. And when the supply is owned by the majority of these people, you never know what's going to happen. It can take a project pretty well. Down since high, it's at 66%. Yeah, it's down like 66% since its original all-time high. So when you're talking $258 down to $98, and it's still going to go further. I mean, it's going to keep going down. We're going to be in a bear cycle for a little while, just so you know. So that's Solana. Now, the overall, my view of Solana is this. I don't like the project. I don't like the way it's operated. I don't really like all that much about it, to be frank. Its inflation is pretty high. There are a lot of things I don't like. It's VC backed. It's all of the things I've already mentioned. However, if I were just buying into something, not necessarily for the technology, not necessarily caring so much about whether it lasts and 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of milk the public kind of thing, and I can count on the VCs to do their marketing and do whatever it's going to take to continue pumping the value of their tokens so they can continue exiting over time. yeah, it might be worth throwing a few bucks into at some point, because I'm doubting it's going to go anywhere, at least anytime soon. It could. Nobody knows 100%. I don't know anything 100%, but overall, if I'm making a bet on technology that's going to benefit mankind on a global scale for a long period of time, I'm not putting my money in Solana. I'm putting money into Solana purely out of speculation, waiting for an opportunity to double or triple my money, and I'm going to get the hell out and put it into something I believe in a little more long term. That's just how I look at it. All right, number 2 on the list is Terra Luna. Luna, it's Terra. Luna is the ticker. Current price is about $86. Market cap is, reported market cap is around $30 billion, which is pretty significant. Trading volume of over $2.1 billion a day. Original all-time high of $109. It's proof of stake. Up since the low is around 43,000%. Pretty big. Down from the high, it's only down 30%. So where everything else is down 60, 70, even some cases 80% from its original all-time high or its current all-time high, this is only down 30%, which is pretty good. Its total supply is about 728 million tokens, pretty good. And as you see also here in the green, its inflation rate is significantly lower than the majority on here. And so that is something that could very well do pretty well long term. Terra is an algorithmically governed seigniorage share style stablecoin platform to which a collection of fiat pegged tokens and a stabilizing crypto asset, Luna, are native. What is seigniorage? Seigniorage is the difference between the face value of money, such as a $10 bill or a quarter coin, and the cost to produce it. In other words, the economic cost of producing a currency within a given economy or country is lower than the actual exchange value, which generally accrues to governments who mint the money. So that's just kind of put things into perspective. Now, here's the thing. Terra Luna's done pretty well. My fear, however, is the new regulations that are coming out. I think stablecoins and anything associated with stablecoins are going to be regulated to hell and back. I think very few will survive. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Now, Terra Luna, as it stands right now, looks pretty solid. It's not dropping in value like the majority of projects out there. It has the potential to become something even greater than it is today. But until I understand fully where the regulations stand from this current administration, which I see getting really, really hairy as it relates to stablecoins, ultimately because I see us ushering in the CBDC token, the programmable money of the government. I believe that's coming, and I believe it's coming sooner than later, but I don't think it's coming until regulations have been put in place on all the other stable coins out there. I believe ultimately that once the CBDC is instituted into our economy, I think a lot of crypto pairs and a lot of assets are going to be tradable in and out of the CBDC because it's trackable. It's very easily trackable. And I think that's when we're going to start seeing a real big push for digital IDs, and those are going to be associated with crypto assets and so forth and so on. A lot of regulation is coming, folks. And I think a lot of the regulation that is coming, while it will be to a large degree a benefit for crypto asset holders and investors, I also think it's going to be to a detriment because it's going to help protect people from hacks, stolen CBDC tokens, things like that. I think as a security asset, I think it's going to be very strong. But, you know, if you say something on Twitter that somebody doesn't like, they can ultimately turn your money off. I mean, that's going to happen. And we can see some of that infrastructure being laid out now. You can see a lot of this as it relates to the Twitter buyout of Elon Musk, and how the second that goes through, you see Saki going on basically saying, oh, we're going to have a real big look at the regulation on, on social media and like making sure that we protect everyone from misinformation and things like that. The control is real. And while one side is being utilized to kind of cheerlead a lot of this stuff, it's really going to affect everyone in very, very negative ways, in my opinion. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What other countries do you know that already utilizes the CBDC, pushes electric vehicles, and how are those things utilized to benefit society in those countries? I don't know. China might be one to look at. So we'll have to wait and see. But as far as Terra Luna, I'm not 100% sure, but it has done pretty well of late and may continue to do so until regulations set in. Now, hopefully these regulations set in before the bottom of the bear market, so that we have a much better understanding as to where our money may be better spent. Okay. Number 3 on the list. Everyone that knows me knows this is my baby. My cat is named Cardano, my beautiful Maine Coon. He's my buddy. He's my boy. He's my fluffy rag doll of love. And I love Cardano. I always will. I don't see any reason. In all of the years since I've been in crypto, in 2017 was the first video I did. December 2017, the first video I did about Cardano. And I came out as a advocate for Cardano at a time when everyone else that even knew about it was crapping all over it. Nobody wanted to touch this. Nobody wanted to be involved. You've had so many Ethereum bag holders and holders of other projects calling it ghostware, vaporware, ghost chains, scams, this, scams that, you name it. Everybody trying to just FUD it. Why do they do that? Because they feel the fear. That's the only thing I can tell you. You know, I mean, what happens anytime somebody reaches a point where they see true opposition in something that they believe in or that they want to maintain as number one or be on top? They FUD it. They create fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and they try to get others to believe like they do. Where else do we see that in the world today? It's funny how that seems to culminate in just about every sector of the world. Never is there enough room for everyone to just be different and believe into something different and communicate and have discussions about these differences in a positive and educative way. No, everybody has to form this insane tribalism where one thing is bad because this is good and this is bad because it may be better than what I have or what I like or what I'm into. And it's all nonsense. It's garbage. The cryptocurrency economy is still in its infancy. I don't care how many cycles we've been through. We are still infants in the grand scheme of the way the economy is going to work in the future. And yes, more than likely, we're going to establish a new world order and a new social and economic system by which the entire world will be governed. And that's just not going to change. Okay. It doesn't matter how much tribalism there is out there. It doesn't matter what you think is going to happen. What's ultimately coming to fruition is the fact that things are changing around us, whether you see it or not. And you can either be blindsided by the truth as it eventually unfolds, or you can take part in it and try to make sure that you're ahead of it and that you understand it and that you're prepared for what's to come. When I think of cryptocurrency on a grand scale, and I think of use case adoption, when I think of development, when I think of the way a cryptocurrency tries to usher in changes in underdeveloped or currently developing countries, I see Cardano as being the front runner in a lot of ways. I see its open source technology as king. I see its developmental milestones as king. I see everything that Cardano does, including Charles's cocky ass attitude as he stands in the face of all who oppose him, making jokes and memes in their face, king. That's the way I look at it. And I love that kind of mentality when you know that you're building something so strong that you can say whatever the hell you want to whoever opposes you and not really have any fear of recourse, because the reality is what you're building is stronger than most, and that those who recognize it and establish a community around it are there with you and are there for you. And so when I look at Cardano as an open source smart contract platform that aims to provide multiple features through layered designs, its modularization will eventually allow for network delegation, side chains, and light client data structures. Cardano uses a version of proof of stake called Ouroboros to secure the network and manage the block production process. The network features a native token called ADA that gives stakers a claim on new issuance in proportion to their holdings and allows users to pay for transactions. I'm a node holder, Crow node, go delegate to it, generate a passive yield over time. You'll probably be pretty surprised with what you earn. And if you think about it now, as Cardano and everything else in the market continues to drop, we'll see where the all-time low is. I'm looking for a low where Bitcoin is somewhere around 28 to 29,000. I think that's going to be the bottom of the trading channel throughout the bear market. We might wick below it, but I don't see us closing below it. And I know that sounds like a tall order right now when Bitcoin's still somewhere around 37, $38,000, right? And you think, Crow, that's not possible. The same way everybody else in the bear market was telling me Bitcoin would never see $8,000 again when it hit a low of $4,000. And I told them, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Don't you know who I am? Listen, when you doubt the technology and you doubt this evolution of technology that's staring you right in the face, and you still don't have enough information to grasp onto the changes coming, I'm sorry, don't talk to me unless you're asking questions. Don't tell me what you think or what you believe, because like everything else, I put in more time than you. And that's all there really is to it. You can't educate me on a lot of this stuff. Some people can. Developers, perhaps, can teach me a hell of a lot. I'm actually learning and trying to read up on Haskell right now so that I better understand the fundamentals of Cardano, and maybe how I can better understand the conversations that I have with my own developers on the applications I'm currently building for this platform. So yeah, without further ado, no matter what I say in this list, Cardano is my #1 pick. I'm waiting for a bottom to buy back in, baby, and I'm going to continue delegating, and I'm going to continue running my node for eons, gladly, helpfully. I don't care if Cardano were to go to negative $2,000, which is never going to happen. But even if it did, I would still maintain my Crow node with glee, waiting for all of the new developments in this blockchain. I mean, when true scalability hits Cardano, nothing's going to touch it. Period. That's it. Nothing else to say. There isn't another project in the market right now that I believe is going to contend with Cardano in its final state. And that's all there is to it. Next, Polkadot. Now, for those of you guys that don't understand the history behind Cardano, Polkadot, and what's the other one? I don't even remember the other one anymore. Is it TEZOS? I don't remember. But basically, these were all members of the original Ethereum team, okay? And they all broke off for different reasons and decided to start their own projects. Charles Hoskinson started Cardano. Polkadot was started by Gavin. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But anyway, Polkadot is a blockchain network designed to support various interconnected application-specific subchains called parachains, short for parallelized chains. Each chain built with Polkadot uses parity technologies, substrate modular framework. You don't know what that means. I don't even know what the hell that means, so don't feel bad. Which allows developers to select specific components that suit their application-specific chain best. Polkadot refers to the entire ecosystem of parachains that plug into a single base platform known as the relay chain. I'm guessing this is something like a surge protector for other applications that want to plug into it, okay? Probably derive data information through APIs and the like. I don't know fully, but this base platform, which also leverages Substrate, does not support application functionality, but instead provides security to the network's parachains and contains Polkadot's consensus, finality, and voting logic. So looking at the numbers here, current price is around $16.50, market cap around 17 billion, with a is that a $598 million a day trading volume? Pretty good. All-time high was $58. It went up about 13. It looks like it only went up about 1,300% from its low, which is really not that great. And it's already down 72% from its high. Total supplies over 1 billion tokens, and inflation rates almost 10%. Overall, Polkadot, I mean, I like to like Polkadot, and I like to look at it as something worth looking into. But it's very much, in my opinion, a very niche kind of project. It's a fairly niche layer one. You know, if you ended up putting money in it at the bottom of the bear market, you probably did okay. You did over 1,000% gains. You can't sneeze at that. But when I'm looking at it from, you know, but at the same time, Polkadot is also one of those types of things that while it is fairly niche overall, once it's found its like real big use case within a niche, it could flourish. It could do very well. I think overall it's about the team. It's about the way it's led. It's about its application. It's about a lot of different things that ultimately so far Polkadot has proven itself to stand the time. It's just how well is it going to stand up to the next bear cycle and into the next bull cycle as other technologies really start to surpass it, which has already ultimately kind of happened. I mean, let's be honest. But I don't necessarily have anything against Polkadot per se. It's just as a performer from a speculative position, I'm not all that impressed. But it doesn't mean that can't change or turn around in time. So it's definitely one to watch and see how things continue to transpire over time. Next on the list is Cosmos. Now this surprised me. I actually reviewed Cosmos a while back. I mean, I think it's been a year or two at least. And I really liked it. I actually reviewed Kava, which was a DeFi application on Cosmos, and I was more impressed with the Cosmos blockchain than I ultimately was with Kava, to be quite frank. And Cosmos is a network of sovereign blockchains that communicate via IBC, an interoperability protocol modeled after TCP/IP for secure data and value transfer. The Cosmos Hub, also known as Gaia, is a proof-of-stake chain with a native token, Atom, which has been doing pretty well, that serves as a hub for IBC packet routing among blockchains within the Cosmos network. The Cosmos Hub, like the majority of blockchains in the Cosmos network, is secured by the Byzantine fault-tolerant BFT proof-of-stake consensus algorithm, Tendermint. Now, looking at the all-time or the current price around $20, all-time high is about $44. Very good volume. And keep in mind, when you're looking at these projects and you see their volume, this is traded daily. So this is $456 million worth of the Atom asset traded in a 24-hour period. This is big because if you think about whatever your holdings may be, if you're looking to get in or out of a position easily without much slippage, basically slippage being, let's say Atom, let's say there's 1,000 people selling Atom at $20, right? But I want to buy $40,000 worth. Okay. So right now, after I bought that first $20,000 worth, the price is going to go up or down depending on who else is selling. So, and that's what we call slippage, which is also something that a lot of people do in over-the-counter trades. They avoid slippage, ultimately making the price more difficult on themselves if they're buying, $200 million worth of Bitcoin. They don't generally do that on exchanges. They do that through over-the-counter projects or over-the-counter sales so that they're saying, okay, I'll buy $200 million of Bitcoin at like a 3% discount to offset the potential volatility, right? And because they're buying in mass, generally the seller bought it at a much lower price. They're making a profit. The buyer buying in such high quantities is getting a better deal, and they're not suffering slippage on exchanges. So when you look at volume, that's a really big deal. You want to make sure that you have enough volume to get in and out of a position relatively quickly and easily without worrying about the price, selling for less as you sell down or buying for more as you buy up. Okay. Proof of stake algorithm, peak up since the low, about 4,000%. It's a pretty good return. If you bought in at the low and you make a 4,000% return over that market cycle, that's pretty solid. Down from its high is 60%. It's already dropped 60% from its peak about 6 months ago. Total supply is pretty good at about 286,000. Now, total supply isn't max supply. In some cases, like Solana and some of these others, there is no max supply. It just continues pouring tokens out, suffering a pretty decent amount of inflation. Right now, the inflation on this, it's over 5%. So I gave it a red. It's 5.88%. So you're looking at almost 6% inflation on Cosmos. But overall, the project is seemed to be doing pretty well. I mean, I was actually quite impressed with its performance over this last bear cycle. Again, like everything else here, the question is, how will it continue to perform throughout the bear market? Projects that generally go silent during a bear market, it tells me a lot. I like to see projects that are loud and proud during a bear market, voicing their accomplishments and what they've done, because that ultimately it's like pulling back on a slingshot. Right? The more news, accolades, milestones, development progress, things like that are happening during a bear market means that this isn't just a speculative project. This is a project that's still actively working on bettering their technology, improving their milestones, and looking ahead to the future and what they're ultimately trying to accomplish. If they say nothing, then they're generally trying to hold all of their news and everything for the next bull cycle. And to me, that's kind of like pandering. And I see that as a lot of bullshit. So keep that in mind as you're looking through some of these projects over time. Algorand, Wow, Algorand. I mean, the numbers are just not that great, which it's shocking because, I mean, its current price is 66 cents, $4.4 billion market cap with about $263,000 a day in value traded. All-time high was $3.24. It's already at 66. 23% inflation. That's asinine. I mean, truly, that's terrible. Down from its peak, 82%. Algorand is something that a lot of people are always, hey, if you check in the bull market, everybody's like, hey, when are you going to cover Algorand? When are you going to touch on Algorand? When are you going to do a deep dive? And I looked at the numbers and I was just like, I don't know. I don't want to bother with it. Algorand is a scalable, secure, and decentralized digital currency and smart contract platform. It's proof of stake, yada, yada, yada. Unlike other POS models, PPOS does not reward, nor does it put validator or user funds at risk of being slashed, a loss of funds used to promote honest node and user behavior. Algorand intends to eventually leverage its PPOS design to form the foundation of an on-chain governance system. Cool. It's one that did pretty well in its rise up. It's done horribly in its fall down. So it could be something, depending on what happens over the course of this bear cycle, it could be another really good opportunity to get in at a much, much cheaper bottom and then potentially ride another wave up and then sell at the peak. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on. It's definitely worth, maybe set your tweet deck for Twitter announcements, and I mean, set up all these projects in a TweetDeck account, and you'll be able to keep up with all their tweets and news releases right there in one platform, and just keep an eye on them. That's really all this video is about. Just kind of letting you know what my initial thoughts are, my opinions, and so forth. Hedera Hashgraph. Now, this is something that I was actually pretty bullish on for a while, and it just didn't seem to grab hold in a lot of ways. Now, it did really well from a price perspective, up since its original low, 666%. That's weird. Down from its all-time high, 75%. It's already 75% down. I mean, it's been tanking. Now, this Hedera Hashgraph was really interesting because when I was first diving into it, it was a project that has this whole new way of establishing a distributed layer technology, right? And the speed of transactions and a lot of different things associated with Hedera sounded really, really good. But for whatever reason, I just didn't see a lot taking shape on this. And Hedera Hashgraph is a distributed ledger of transactions, otherwise known as a DLT. While blockchains are the most commonly used DLTs, Hedera is slightly different since it uses new consensus algorithm known as Hashgraph. The Hashgraph consensus algorithm aims to process and finalize more transactions at scale than traditional proof-of-work networks, as they are often characterized by high latency and low transactions per second. Hedera's state is stored on mainnet nodes, which are all currently run by members of the Hedera Governing Council. But in the future, mainnet nodes, whatever, I can't see my own thing because I've got it blocked with my graphic. TwistedTimes.io. These nodes secure the Hedera Hashgraph blockchain or ledger, I'm sure, a consensus on the validity of transactions. This is just it's a watch. I mean, the inflation rate is really high, 23%. Total supply, 50 billion tokens. The numbers just don't look all that fantastic. But it did go up 666%. Now, Hedera Hashgraph is another one of those projects that could, depending on where they find their niche and what they are ultimately able to accomplish throughout this bear market, this could be a project that goes to the wayside and everybody's like, it had its shot, it didn't go anywhere, it didn't do anything. There were much better projects that perform significantly better, or it could be one that rises from the ashes and becomes a really, really big boomer in the next cycle. We just have to wait and see how that works out. Last on the list, TEZOS. TEZOS currently trading at $2.74 with an all-time high of $9. Peak since the low, 2,800%. Pretty good, but it's already down 72% since its high. It's under 5% inflation at 4%, which is pretty good. Total supply isn't terrible either, at just under $1.914 billion. Now that'll probably go up, 4% a year. You do the math. How long is it going to take us to get to over $1 billion? TEZOS is a multi-purpose blockchain which aims to combine a self-amending protocol and on-chain governance to manage future changes and implementations to the network. It supports the creation of new tokens and smart contracts, thus decentralized applications, or dApps. The on-chain governance system enables token holders to make decisions together and improve the network over time, as opposed to the less inclusive off-chain governance models used by Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, and I've heard Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, basically say good things about TEZOS and some other projects as well. This is one to watch just to see where it goes, where it ends up. I mean, it did pretty well, almost 3,000% from a low to its peak in the last bull cycle. So, it could very well happen again with even better numbers. It just kind of depends. And the thing of it is ultimately the variables to a lot of the growth of some of these projects are ultimately, it's all about use case valuation. Okay. These are some notes that I laid out. I've already kind of mentioned quite a few of them throughout this video, but ultimately supply versus use case. That's ultimately the big differentiating factor between the growth potential of some of these projects. How much of a use case can this blockchain establish through all of the means necessary, all of the means that it's developed onto its layer 1 blockchain? How can those things be utilized by application developers for the greater good of all, right? So the number of tokens available, obviously Cardano, I think, had one of the highest, but it's also one of the layer 1 blockchains with the most use case potential on a global scale. So if you're trying to build something that captures the use of applications the world over, you're going to need more tokens to facilitate those transactions and everything associated with it. Now, some projects like meme coins go the complete other way. They're like, we're going to put out 50 quadrillion tokens worth a tiniest fraction of a penny, and then market the hell out of those like pet rocks, and then drive the price up through adoption, almost like a Ponzi, right? People that buy in at the very beginning, they get the biggest benefit as more people are brought in over a bull cycle, okay? And they can be wildly profitable if you know when to get out of them, right? Because, a lot of these meme coins, I've got one that I'm going to talk about, actually looks a little different than most. It's actually pretty interesting. It is a paid segment at the end of the video. It's Meme Kong, if you're familiar with that one. So I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit and going over some key points. But ultimately, that's what a lot of these meme coins do. They put out an abundance of tokens. They market the hell out of them. They try to add to the use case associated with those tokens. And it's people that they're buying in. You can buy 1 million tokens for $100, and if it goes to just 1 penny a piece, you may become a millionaire for $100, right? I mean, and it's happened, which, it sounds like absolute craziness, but it's happened. Ownership of tokens is a significant deal, because the more powerful the people that hold the majority of the tokens, the less likely people are to sell at the right time and generate the return they are expecting or hoping for. That's the way I see it. When venture capitalist groups and investors, early stage investors, when they're getting tokens at a fraction of what the retail public is buying them at, they hold all the power, because anything they do is pretty much at profit. And so it's easier for them to pump money into campaigns, whether it's for their token or against others, setting up or hiring bot farms to try and spread all kinds of FUD about competing projects, which I've seen a lot with Cardano. If you're ever on Twitter and you see like negative, crappy comments on Cardano, click the profile. 9 times out of 10, it's some sort of random name with a string of numbers behind it with 3 followers. Those are bots. Those are fake accounts, and they're set up and they're managed by groups. They sell it as a service to people. You can do it for or against just about anything, from politics to, you name it. These bot farms they make significant money. I get offers all the time. Hire our bot farm, hire this, hire that. We'll help promote you. We'll do this, we'll do that. So just know that that's a real thing. So next time you're reading FUD about a particular project on Twitter, social media, look at the actual profile saying it. Don't just blindly accept it as fact, because a lot of the stuff is garbage. Open source is a really big deal because any company that's developing something for the greater good of mankind is more likely to have it as an open source system that people can adopt, recreate, and do their own thing with. They're not just generating something for profit. They're doing stuff that they want the world to see. Open source projects generally opens the code to a lot of their development. Whether that's for, people looking for bugs, people looking to adopt the technology for their own, so forth and so on. Roadmap completion. That's a really big deal, obviously, because some of these companies, they put out roadmaps and they miss the mark. They miss their milestones quite often. They're not developing the way they say they're going to. The ideas that are planned to be implemented throughout their roadmaps are not necessarily all that great. That's a big deal. Transaction speeds. Everybody's fighting for Visa. I truly think Cardano is going to be the first to really, really beat them on a real world use scale. And there may be others in the future. But yeah, I mean, everybody's trying to fight Visa in terms of number of transactions processed in a day. And they're trying to do that to the second. They're trying to say, hey, and some of the protocols that Cardano is building are going to blow that out of the water. I mean, once they've launched, it's going to blow that out of the water. So keep your eyes open. Transaction fees, obviously, one of the biggest faults of Ethereum is, when things are really active on the blockchain, transaction fees go through the roof. I mean, it can often cost more in transaction fees to send a small transaction on Ethereum at the height of a market, which is ridiculous. And they're always talking about how they're going to scale it and fix it and, patch that quilt, but it ultimately never seems to work out, and it never really seems to go anywhere long term. And if anything, a lot of these big developmental milestones that Ethereum puts out for itself are never met, and they're always extended another 6 months, another year, another 2 years. So it's really giving a lot of opportunity for projects like Cardano and others to really start catching up and really beat the pants off of them. It's just that so many people were mining Ethereum. There's so many more Ethereum holders out there because it was the first big project out there that introduced smart contracts to the blockchain after Bitcoin. And Bitcoin doesn't have any of that. It's basically a lump of digital gold. So, it's a great store of value, but it doesn't do much else. Community support. That's a really big thing, man. Projects that have significant real communities, not just bot farms and bot communities, tend to stand the test of time over everything else because the communities grow over time based off of development milestones, based off of use case scenarios, based off of applications that are adopting that layer one, so forth and so on. And I tend to see flimsier projects with more negative bots than positive people. In other words, projects that are just trying to inflate the value of their own project typically hire a lot of these bot farms to FUD competing projects in favor of themselves. And, generally you see real people promoting the positive aspects of a blockchain that merit such, if that makes sense. Community attitude and app options and use case. That's all a really big deal. I mean, you want application options, you want security, you want quality of code, you want layer one blockchains that are really going to that really show you that like significant developers are on par, they're on board for it. And some of these little niche blockchains that don't seem to cater very well to application developers or use case potential the world over, they don't stand to do very well. When you think about technology that's in its infancy, you're really looking for applications that are layer one blockchains that are going to facilitate global change. And I really think that's what it boils down to. The fun stuff, the speculative stuff, all of that is going to come no matter what. And often it's the early adopters. Speculative shit coins, in my opinion, are it's like porn. Okay. I mean, let's be real about it. What industry adopts new and crazy technology before the rest of the world? It's the adult industry. When virtual reality was first coming to fruition and really starting to plant its seed, who was the first to adopt that technology? I mean, the adult entertainment industry typically adopts the newest and best technology out there, and then it starts to spread from there. The same way Bitcoin in its early days was facilitating more negatively themed transactions, if you will, whether it was on the Silk Road or other platforms. Bitcoin in its early days was adopted by those who could exploit its use for the best benefit to themselves. It wasn't about changing the economic structure of the world. It wasn't about, ridding the world of these, inflationary systems and so forth and so on. It was like, hey, I can buy some weed for some Bitcoin and nobody will know my name. Okay. And so we have to look at a lot of these use case potentials as what fuels and drives the development of some of these blockchains. So that's my list. Hopefully this puts some things into perspective and at least gives you some things to look at as you continue to move forward. Now, before I get into Meme Kong, this is all of that data basically in one little friendly chart. You can screenshot it, pause it, you can take a look and maybe do your own, use the information as you will, and hopefully it helps you make some really good decisions. But no matter what, to me, Cardano is my number one, and then there's some others in there that I might throw a little bit into just to kind of diversify a little bit. And some people are like, wow, diversification in crypto is nonsensical because you're just putting money into crypto. But no, I do believe differently. I think diversifying into different kinds of blockchains, different kinds of technology, different niches, different use case potentials, I think that's diversification. Just like you can either buy tech stocks or you can buy dividend stocks. You can diversify a stock portfolio. Just because you're into stocks doesn't mean you're not diversifying a portfolio. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, but that's all the data. Now, here we go. This is actually kind of, this is going to be fun, I think. Let's see here. Where is it? Bam. All right. So, yeah. 8 hours. 8 hours to go for the NFT public sale. If you're still with me, you might want to check that out. It's a good opportunity for you to get into the ground floor, something I really do think is going to take over NFTs. I can't wait for the actual platforms and the profiles and the marketplaces and everything to launch. I really want to play a role in that. I really, really do. So anyway, as we move forward, this is a paid segment. Disclosures and everything are in the description below. This is Meme Kong. I really think this is kind of fun. I'm getting into meme coins, not necessarily like because I want to put a bunch of money into them, but I might put a little here and there and just have some fun with them. You deserve more. Meme Kong unites community and utility in the first hybrid token. Now, I will say that I like right off the bat, one of the first things I did was I scrolled through here. They do have a lot going on. I mean, compared to a lot of other like meme tokens and things, they have a lot going on. But I watched this video with this guy and I thought, I kind of dig this guy. I kind of dig his real energy. He doesn't come off as some con guy, I actually kind of dig the guy. Maybe because I'm a huge fan of SEALs team and the guy looks like, he doesn't have any tattoos, so he's probably never been a SEALs operator or anything, but damn it, I like the beard. And how do you look at somebody with a beard like that and think, oh, this guy's full of it? Maybe I'm a little biased. I don't know, but I actually like this guy's energy and I like the way he was kind of selling the idea behind Meme Kong. So so you could buy it. You can actually pick it up right there on their website through a DEX. You can get it on Coinbase, MetaMask, or Uniswap. They put the contract address right here, so you can verify things if you'd like. Join the Telegram community, and I'm going to go over some notes. I created a PDF with notes that I was pulling from different things. The founding team and the founder completely doxed. These guys are not anonymous. These guys are not hiding from anyone. They're not trying to do some quick cash grab and then peace out into Dubai or something. They're fully doxed, which I actually respect. And that's one thing that I always look for. If you don't have a doxed team, then to me, that's instantly shady. And people can say, oh, we're afraid of the SEC. We don't want them causing trouble. Yeah, nobody does. If you're doing fraudulent, scandalous stuff, you don't want anybody to know you exist, right? So yeah, there's that. They're fully doxed. I appreciate that. $7.6 million market cap and $1.8 million liquidity. 6-figure marketing push incoming. And I mean, they paid me for a segment, so they're obviously that's real. I mean, they're putting money into campaigns. 2 games, 1 play to earn and 1 play to earn and B incoming. So there's some cool stuff coming. Staking begins today. So that's cool. You can start staking your tokens today. Social engagement focused wallet incoming. I'll be curious to see that. First and only token with its own supercar rally. I'm going to show you guys that. Well, this is it. This is the website right here. There's video media. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. Rally Meme Kong. I mean, I think these rallies are pretty dang on cool. I don't think I can handle driving in one. I don't think I would last very long. Let's see what this is. I haven't seen this yet. I'll watch it with you real quick. Maybe if it loads. What's this? It's on Vimeo. There we go. So you get the idea. I want to know what filthy rich bastard started the idea of these rallies. Like, who said, let's get the most expensive cars in the world and then drive the shit out of them for 1,000 miles in a row and just burn up everything? Like, I don't know. It sounds fun, but I don't think if I bought a $300,000 or $400,000 car, I would really just want to run it through a whole bunch. I mean, I don't know. I guess it just depends on how wealthy you really are. But for me, I can come up with better ideas for like where to put my money. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've always said, even if I was a billionaire, I don't think I would spend over like a certain amount for a vehicle. Like, and even then I'm like kind of weird about driving and all that. So, I don't really drive much because I hardly ever leave the house. I'm the biggest homebody, but like, I don't know, man. I do think these are cool for those who are really, really into this thing, but that's just one thing that they've got going on. So I actually found that pretty interesting. First and only token to combine digital and real world communities, utility, full transparency, and accountability for investors. So that's a pretty cool thing. Lootverse metaverse integration. So I'm not very familiar with Lootverse, but I might have to look into that. Kong Kingdom, Kongasium, and Kong Poker Launchpad. I will also make a note, and I was watching this guy, the founder, talk about this stuff, and I'm thinking, Meme Kong. You watch it, this guy's hands are so damn big. I'm like, okay, that's probably where you got the Meme Kong name, because his hands are like King Kong hands. They're probably bigger than mine. My hands are pretty big. I could probably squeeze somebody's head like a cantaloupe. This guy's hands might be bigger than mine. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. The guy's got ginormous hands. Meme Kong. All right, cool. I get it, brother. I'm with you. So in Launchpad, first and only true hybrid token to combine digital and real world communities to a strong utility suite with full transparency and accountability for investors. So this is an article on Yahoo. MKong launches on the Ethereum blockchain. And here's the other thing. A lot of big projects, they launch on Ethereum. I don't know why. I think it's just because the community is huge. And typically Ethereum is still like the big front runner for a lot of this stuff, man. I mean, transaction fees be damned. I mean, if people are speculating on meme coins or NFT projects and things like that, people, I don't know, man. I want to see more of this stuff on Cardano, quite frankly. Because all of the marketing that's going to go into something like Meme Kong token or a lot of these other meme coins, I mean, to me, they're all that marketing should go into the like really solid blockchains, not just Ethereum, because the community is really, really big. But, you know, I don't control this stuff. It's what, I mean, people do what they want. Meme Kong is an ERC20 Ethereum token that is anticipated to be a full utility project with investor benefits that most meme community tokens lack. Launched on February 2nd of 2022, MKong is a fully decentralized DeFi token that is fully a doxed team with a vision to create a safe, vetted project, allowing holders a reason to invest with confidence. Chris Thaumann, the fully doxed founder of MemeKong, started his career on Wall Street at the age of 20, quickly expanded into banking and the medical industry. My wife always makes fun of me the way I say industry. I think I said that, like the right inflection. I don't know. Chris currently owns several medical clinics and a fintech company. He has a very extensive venture capital background that he brings into crypto and MemeKong. MemeKong is also comprised of two project managers, Eric Garza of the US and Ben Pickett of the UK. Eric Garza and Chris have known each other for over 20 years. Eric has also realized success in various medical companies in the insurance industry. Ben brings his abundant network in high-end hospitality and his ability to bridge relationships to the team. MemeKong has tokenomics of 9% on both buys and sells. Launched with a 200 million total supply. 42.5 of the supply was locked for staking and exchange listing. MemeKong launched with 6 figures of liquidity, and the total current circulation supply is 100 million tokens. So yeah, I mean, there you go. I don't know. I mean, this could be a lot of fun. Again, I'm not a huge proponent of meme coins, but for a meme token that looks to be doing and have a lot of plans outside of just like, here's our meme token, you can get 20 billion of them for $50 and maybe they'll go to $1 someday. You know, they're looking to add some serious utility. They've got some, obviously they've got some real backing. So, you know, check this out. It's memekong.io, and links will be in the description along with the disclosure. If this looks of interest to you, you know, I don't know. Token price right now is about almost 8 cents. Market cap of $15.8 million. And yeah, check it out. Join the Telegram community. Hopefully it treats you well. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this? Also, I want to know, for those of you that are still here, let me know in the comments, what is my algorithm doing right now? Because since my channel has been like needlessly terminated a couple of times and then brought back without any note whatsoever, you know, I feel like my algorithm has taken such a shot that those of you guys that have subscribed, maybe you've hit the alert bell so you know the second I put out new content or I go live or whatever. I don't know how many of you guys are actually getting these notifications compared to who's actually finding the video on YouTube. Does YouTube just not like me anymore? Is it like, do you not like me anymore? Let me know in the comments. I really want to know. I plan on reading all the comments to this video because I put a lot of work into this, and I want to know what's the outcome. Does it reach you? Do you value the content? Give me your ideas. Help me help you. And until then, thanks for joining me. I am the Crypto Crow. Crow your coins, and I'll see you again real soon. Have a good week.